Welcome to Love for G.T.S. I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. I'm going to try not to drag this thing out too long, all right? I hope you enjoyed the little interlude, having a little fun. We all know the controversy with the P226, so I'm not going to, spend a whole lot of time on that. I just thought it was a little entertaining. I kind of shot that a little bit ago. I thought it was, kind of humorous and figured I'd include it because I had somebody make a comment. I'll see if I can put it up here on the screen. And they were basically trying to draw some comparisons between the new P226 X Legion and the P320. And that couldn't be further from the truth. All right. This gun has been around since the 80s. It is the OG. It is probably one of the most trusted guns um, ever in service. Now, this gun was originally created back in the 80s to go against Glock and some other guns. I think Beretta, if I remember correctly. If not, you guys can, correct me in the comments. But it performed well. I think it performed the best out of all the guns that were introduced that year. But for one reason or another, we know how contracts go. It did not win the contract, but it performed so well that the U.S. Navy SEALs ended up picking the gun up. Go figure, right? Gun definitely has earned a reputation for reliability, shootability, you name it. All right. So last year, Sig dropped a new P226, and this one is the X Legion. You saw the title. You already know what gun we're here for. Comes in this nice case that Sig kind of always does. I think I have another one here. I think this one was for a P320 or 365. Don't remember. But let's introduce the gun we're here for. All right. So it comes in this nice hard case. And this is what you get. This is the P226X Legion. And this is going to be the 4.4-inch barrel version. And before we get too far into this, I'm going to show clear. There are no ammo in any of the magazines. All right, rack it back. Gun is clear. Nothing in the chamber. No ammo in the work area. All right. With that being said, I'm going to just talk about the gun real quick. I'm not going to go too deep into like an unboxing thing because I did do a a short where I kind of did an unboxing and kind of unbox the gun. So moving into what we have here, this is going to be, again, the 4.4-inch barrel version. I'm going to get this out of the way and talk about this later. Like I said, it comes in two versions. It has a carry version and then the full-size version. This is going to be the full-size version. It has a 4.4-inch barrel, bull barrel, which we'll also touch on. And then the carry version has a 3.8-inch barrel. So there are different reasons why I chose the full size. And I mainly want to make this about first shots and kind of my experience or how I feel about the gun since picking it up. And one thing I can tell you is out of all the guns I've had, this is by far one of my favorite guns. I know a lot of gun tubers or guys who make these videos about guns. We always say that whatever gun that we just got is our favorite gun. And I'm guilty of that myself because, normally when you get the new thing, it becomes your favorite thing. Now, I never thought that any gun that I got after the Kimber 2K11 would top that. And I must say that I'm not saying it's better, but I am saying that I did enjoy shooting this gun even more than the 2K11. And if anybody who's watched any of those videos, you guys know how much I love the 2K11. But I must say shooting experience with this gun has been so much better. And again, it's not necessarily to say that it's a better gun. It's just for some reason the shooting was a lot more enjoyable, which I'll try to explain a little bit later in the video. So let's just kind of quickly go over some of the features of the gun. Again, we'll start it off at the top here. We kind of talked about this bull barrel. It's a 4.4-inch barrel. And if you can kind of see there, this barrel does have a really, really deep crown on it. It is crowned and ramped, and it's pretty deep. I think it says it's a 35-degree crown. I'm not sure why they went so deep with the crown. I don't know if that was necessary, but the purpose of crowning is to prevent the barrel from being damaged if in the event you drop the gun and the barrel is hit or whatever. So the barrel still remains accurate and you can stay in the fight. So I do appreciate the crowning of the barrel and a nice big bull barrel at that, which I believe this barrel is bigger than the previous iterations of the P226. Might be corrected on that. I don't know. You guys can do that in the comments. Always some experts and gurus out there who know more than us here talking about our experiences. Let's see, what else do we have here? Now, this comes with the X-Ray 3 day night sights. Beautiful sighting system. These are probably some of the best sights on the market. Sig put these pretty much most of their guns now, and these are phenomenal sights. It also comes optic ready. I believe you can buy it with the Sig Lock optic. I did not get that version, but it is optic ready. And one thing that I do appreciate is that you do not lose your rear sights when you mount an optic. So you can co-witness. I'm all for co-witnessing. I tend to not ever not co-witness. At any rate, co-witnessing is important to me. And you know, even for my carry guns that I do have an optic on, I always want to have the sights. You know, I'm one of those FUDs, I guess. Electronics can fail, so these irons hard to fail. All right. Now it does again have the Sig Lock optic footprint on here, which mounts from the bottom. You can do some research on that. I'm not going to dig into that, but you can also mount a RMR or Delta Point Pro footprint optic on there as well. If I am wrong, you can correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure I'm accurate on that. Now it does have really nice serrations on here as well on the front and back. Beautiful serrations. So if you're a press checker like me, you can definitely press check that thing. You can rack it from the back, nice and smooth, easy there. Now, one of the standout features of this gun, which we're going to move down to, and before I forget, this is a steel slide aluminum frame. So it's an all metal constructed gun. All right. And we'll get into the trigger here in a minute. But one of the best features of this gun is going to be the grip. Now, if you notice, it has this wraparound grip. These are G.T.S hold grips. This is probably one of the best grips I've ever felt. I mean, and again, I'm not trying to gas you guys up. I mean, this gripping this gun just feels so freaking great, man. And it is one of the things that I enjoy or appreciate the most about this gun is this grip. Now, one other thing that makes or breaks a shooting experience with a gun is going to be the trigger. So I'll, you know, get into that a little bit. Now, there are 3 different trigger versions in the P226 lineup. And those are the AX1, AX2, and AX3. Now, this particular gun has the AX1 trigger, which you'll see is kind of this flat trigger here. Now, the double action, single action version of this gun um, does have the AX2 trigger. And then there's an AX3 trigger that doesn't come in this particular version. It usually comes on the X5 versions of the gun, which leads me into what I was going to say next. Now, this X Legion version does share the grip panels, the G10 grips, as well as a lot of the other features of the X5 versions of the P226. Why is that important? Because the grips, the trigger, and a lot of other features on this gun are compatible with the X5 Legion versions of the gun. Now, what they did basically was take the original P226 and incorporate a lot of the X5 features of the gun. Now, anybody who shot an X5 version of the P226 knows how great those guns shoot, how nice the grip is, how easily pointable they are, how shootable they are, and how phenomenal the ergos are. So the ergos on this gun is another thing that I definitely want to get into. All right. The P226, just like a lot of the SIG guns, does, I guess, kind of have a high bore axis, if that's one of those things that you're into. Has that stopped these guns from winning competitions and just being great duty weapons or service weapons or any of that? Absolutely not. All right. So let's continue to move down the gun. And I'm going to drop some footage in here because this was mainly supposed to be about shooting experience, right? But I am kind of digressing into or diverting into kind of talking about the gun itself. I can't help myself. I just wanted to tell you about this gun. So I haven't done a full length video on it, only a couple of shorts. So let's run over them real quick before we get into that. So it does have a nice Picatinny rail here with 4 slots on this version. I think the carry version has 3 slots. And this is, the SIG guns are some of the easiest to take down, in my opinion, a lot easier than Glocks and some other guns. Now, it does take down similar to the M&P series. It does have a manual safety as well that is ambidextrous. All right. Is positive on the thumb safety, um, positive on the actuation and to deactivate it. Also has this takedown here, or excuse me, slide lock. Now the slide lock is not ambidextrous. For you wrong-handed people, you will have to use right-handed tendencies to lock the slide back or to release it. So, and then the placement of where the slide lock is, it is in a great place. And again, we already talked about the sights, the mounting system, takedown, now the trigger. Check out that trigger. Very, very minimal take up. And that brake is so clean, no creep in there. Check out that reset. Really short. One of the things that about this trigger is it is a single action only trigger, like I said. Now, this trigger does come in, it feels about 3.5-ish. I'll leave that right there if you know what I mean. Texture on this gun is really great. It has a pretty, I wouldn't say aggressive. It's definitely not mild, but it's not aggressive texturing on the G10 panels. And then, like I said, it does wrap around. So this grip goes all the way up here on both sides. All right. And then it does have some checkering on the front to give you extra control with your dominant hand. And for those of us who like to grip the gun like this, I don't really know anybody who does that. I have seen some older guys do it. For whatever reason, it's uncomfortable to me. I tried it a couple times, but they do have some texturing here. And then they also added some extra texturing on the bottom of the trigger guard. And it is a nice, whitish trigger guard there. Now, I do appreciate the texturing on the bottom of the trigger guard, for extra grip. And speaking of texture, there's also texture on this takedown lever. So when you're gripping the gun, here, if you are one of those who place your thumb there, it does give you enough of a little bit of ledge or leverage, if you can kind of see that there, where you can actually place your finger there and get a little bit of leverage on the gun to keep it down. All right. So I think that's pretty much the main features of the gun. It does have a guy rod that's separate from the recoil spring. So I'm sure that aids in the pleasurable shooting experience from this gun. Now, one of the questions that people tend to always ask is, man, would you buy this over this or that? And I'll try to make some other videos kind of comparing different guns against this one. But what I will say is if you're in the market for like a 2011, and like I said, I showed you earlier, I have a 2K11. And, after shooting both of these, this gun is clear as well. After shooting both of these guns, would I choose the P226 over the 2K11 or another 2011 or a CZ? Now I did choose this gun as well as this gun over the CZ Shadow 2 compact. That's one guns. It's on the top of my list of guns that I really want to have in my collection. Every time I go to buy one, though, for some reason I end up buying something else. The last time I went to go buy one, I bought a KDS 9C, which I don't have that one up here with me right now. The next time I went to go buy one, I ended up buying the 2K11. And that was more because I was focusing on something 2011 style or 1911 double stack style to carry on duty. Because at the time I was replacing my P320. And, I was trying to see what else I want to carry other than the M&P 2.0. At the time, I did consider the P226 as one of my first choices, but I had never shot one, and I just wasn't sure I was going to really enjoy it enough to have as my side, my duty gun. Because whatever gun that I carry, I tend to shoot a lot, and I put a bunch of rounds through. So I wasn't sure about it. Now, if I could go back and do it all over again, I probably would have chosen this for duty as opposed to this. This gun's really just too pretty to have holstered on duty all day. But it, I mean, it depends on what you're into. So if you want another video talking about like, if I would choose one gun over another one, I could definitely get into that. One thing I do really like about this gun is the ability to flex into different roles. And it's just an enjoyable shooting experience. So when you see some of the more popular gun tubers who tend to say good things about every gun that they're sent, speaking of that, Sig didn't send me this gun. Every gun that I own, I actually acquired myself. I've never had anybody reach out to me and send me a gun. So anybody listening, if you want to send me a gun, I'd be happy to check it out and put some rounds to them. But yeah, I did acquire or purchase this gun myself. So it was not given to me or sent to me by anybody. So I'm not required to say anything, nice or anything like that. I just kind of speak honestly and talk about my experience with different firearms. And this is one that I've enjoyed more than any other that I've owned. And I'll do a follow-up video once I get more rounds through it. So far, I am about 500-ish rounds through this gun. And I have not had any malfunctions with it. I did have two issues. And I don't know if I have video. If I do, I'll put it up here. But the two issues I had were ammo related. And it was with the Winchester white box. Now, I shot rounds of through think herders and monarchs. I shot blazers. I shot some hollow points through the gun. No issues. The only issue I had was with the FMJ white box Winchesters. Now I will say, out of all the ammo that I shoot through all the different guns, and I don't know if I just got a bad batch or whatever, I've only had issues with the Winchester white box for some reason. Other than that, this gun has shot everything else with no issues. So if you order a Legion version of any SIG, they do come with some complimentary gifts. One of those is going to be this coin here. All right. Now, once you purchase the gun, you do have to go on SIG's website and place an order for the coin as well as a bag. They give you a range bag. So it comes with a range bag. I forget what brand it is, but it comes with a range bag as well as this cool Legion coin for those who are into that thing. I don't know. For me, it's kind of cool. Comes from another Custom Works SIG that I bought. I think it was from one of my P226 versions. I think it was a Spectre Comp. So if you're into the coin thing, I mean, you get that. Like I said, you get the Legion range bag or whatever comes with it. Talk about shooting experience per se. Now, one thing I will say is the shooting experience with this gun, as I stated in the very beginning of the video, it's probably one of the best experiences I've had. It is not the flattest gun. All right. It does have some muzzle rise, right? So there is some muzzle rise, but this thing floats like a cloud, man. It's hard to explain the experience. Um, it's not crazy muzzle rise. It's not like jerking you back or anything like that. It's like a soft push. It just kind of floats or whatever. So sight acquisition is great because it just floats up and then drops right back down to your targeting position. It's like a wave. It's just like, that's the best way I can explain it. Anybody who's shot a P226, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. Um, so handling this gun is nice. It stays planted in your hand. This grip doesn't let it go anywhere. And like I said, it has texturing everywhere, which aids in your ability to control the gun. The trigger is not heavy. It's a nice, crisp trigger pull, light enough to have a great experience because triggers can make or break experiences with shooting enough that it ruins the experience or, makes getting back on target hard. And again, anybody who's been shooting a while, you understand exactly what I mean by that. Now, who's this gun for? This particular version, I would say would be more for competition or for duty. Now, can you carry this? Absolutely. I mean, it's actually not really that big. It appears bigger than it really is. And that was one of the things that I thought was kind of weird. When I got this gun, when I was looking at this gun, I was like, man, that P226 looks huge. But once I kind of got it in hand, I went to my local gun store and I put this gun in my hand and I was like, man, this thing actually doesn't feel as big as it is. And for comparison, let's look at mine. Now this is a 5-inch 2K11. And you can kind of see the size there for comparison's sake. See how big it is. It's kind of hard to do this without, I guess, putting the camera here specifically for this purpose. But just to kind of give you a general idea of the size of the gun. All right. Now, this is definitely a full-size gun, which, is something totally different. But anybody in the market for a P226 or a new duty weapon or a full-size carry gun, this is definitely one I would recommend. This is probably like I said, one of my favorite guns. Probably my favorite at the moment. And again, I have to take it out and shoot it against the 2K11. It's been a great experience just shooting this gun. Range time with this thing has been phenomenal. Like I said, I showed some video earlier, and I mean, if you're looking for one, get one. Can't go wrong. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out this video. I'm gonna leave you with these last two things. Practice makes you suck less. And if you aren't training, you're slacking. So get to the range, train with your guns, and make sure if this is the one, not this one, but any gun that you're going to use, make sure that you're proficient with that gun. I'm going to get back out and train with this one some more because I absolutely love this gun. Peace.